Hey everybody, today I want to talk to you about consistent parenting. Being consistent not only benefits the kids, but it benefits you as the parent as well. Consistent in parenting is so important for so many reasons and for so many adult life skills that we want our kids to learn. So stick around for the video and I'll tell you 3 big main tips to help be a more consistent parent. So as we get started, it's important to know what consistency is. And when you're consistent with your kids, that just means that you follow through with what you say. Now this is important because being consistent is what gives our words power when it comes to communicating with our children. If we're not consistent, kids don't learn that our words mean anything. And that can cause a lot of problems when trying to teach good behaviors or discipline or anything related to communicating with your kids. Consistency is so powerful because it teaches our kids that we mean what we say for good and bad, and that level of trust is important to build. So let's get into the 3 tips for being a consistent parent. First, be on the same page with the other parent if you're in a 2-parent household. This is important because not being on the same page with the other parent is the same thing as not being consistent. And when this is the case, kids learn to pit the parents against each other. Now this is never helpful. This causes contention in your relationship as well as contention between parent and child. And it teaches them that they can manipulate the situation to get what they want when they know one parent might be more lenient on certain things than the other. Number 2 is to be consistent with consequences. Being consistent with consequences teaches kids to be responsible and take responsibility for their own actions. This also teaches kids to manage their behavior because it helps them understand that when they act a certain way or do a certain thing, there is a specific thing that is going to happen to them and they can count on that. When we talk about consistent consequences, it can be useful to include your kids on the conversation about what they think would be fair consequences. So when those things come around, it's something that they've agreed to and they understand. Not being consistent with consequences leads to a break in that consistency and those power to the words that you have as parents. So let's say they have missing work at school or they don't turn in some homework, and one time you give them time out, the next time you take their phone away, the next time you ground them from friends. If you're not being consistent in their consequences, they'll never be able to trust or predict what is going to happen. Number 3 is to be routined. Now this can start with small things in your house, but it can permeate all areas of life. Being routine and being structured is really important for kids and their mental health. This helps teach our kids to look forward to fun things, look forward to the good things, while also understanding that sometimes we have to do things we don't want to maintain that homeostasis in our lives. Now these become extra important when we talk about kids with attention deficit disorder or ADD. These can be really effective interventions in helping manage some of those behaviors because a lot of the struggles of ADD come with the unpredictability of life. Finally, it's important to note that it's okay for there to be some flexibility, and as a parent, you have to be somewhat flexible. It's okay to sometimes bend the rules if that is what's best for the situation, but it's important to use that sparingly. In a lot of situations, we feel like bending the rules or letting things go just this one time can help us be the good parent or the cool parent, but in a lot of ways, it actually destroys some of that consistency and that predictability. When we talk about being predictable, it's very important for our relationship with our kids to be predictable. I think we can all agree that we want our kids to trust us. And at its most base level, trust is just predictability. They can only trust us if they can predict how we're going to respond or react. So if for too many times we change the rules or make an exception, that can teach our kids that it's not predictable, even if we think it's in a good way or a fun way in helping us be the cool parent. If they can't predict our behaviors, they can't trust us. It's important to understand that trust and predictability are the same thing, and so even if we have to implement consequences, that can maintain trust and actually be better for your relationship than being the cool parent and bending those rules sometimes. Hopefully you found these tips helpful. Thank you for joining us for today's video. We hope to see you on the next one. If you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, and comment. We'd love to talk to you guys. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one.